Hey guys, it's Alicia. Today I have another What's for Dinner for you. My husband and I are on the MyWW green plan, and so I'm going to just show you some of the meals that we have been eating on that. Now, it's been a little more difficult with the quarantine finding the stuff that I need to make Weight Watcher friendly dinners, but we're doing the best we can, and I just wanted to share with you what we have been eating so maybe you can get some ideas yourself. This first meal is one of my family's favorites, and so this time I am gonna double it. I think the video that I did on this before, I just did half of what I'm gonna be making today, but since everyone loves it so much, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and just double it. And that is for turkey spinach lasagna rolls. Now, I'm first starting off here with my oven-ready lasagna noodles. You can use whatever type you want. I just have the oven ready. And I've got them in some boiling water here, and I'm just getting those nice and softened. And then over in that pan, I've got a little bit of olive oil that I'm heating up, and I'm gonna add in a pound of a lean ground turkey. I'm gonna break that up in there. And then I'm gonna add in one large red onion that I've chopped up. And then I've also got a red and a yellow bell pepper there. I'm gonna just stir that up. And then I'm gonna add a little fresh ground pepper. You can add salt if you want, but I'm just gonna use pepper at this point because we're always watching our sodium. I'm gonna let that cook for just a few minutes, and then I'm gonna add in some mushrooms. I like to let the peppers and the onions cook a little bit first because they take a little bit longer to soften up than the mushrooms do. So I've got my mushrooms in here, and I'm gonna just mix this all together and just let this cook until that turkey is done and those veggies are all nice and softened. Once that turkey is cooked and those veggies are nice and softened, I'm gonna add in a little bit of this minced garlic. I've gotten really lazy, and this is pretty much what I use all the time for minced garlic, but it works pretty well. So now I'm gonna just take that, mix that in there, and let that cook for about a minute or so until it becomes fragrant. And then I'm also gonna take my noodles there that are nice and softened, and I'm gonna lay them on some parchment paper so that they don't stick while I'm doing the rest of this. So once that has cooked for another minute, I'm now gonna take some of this Ragu Simply pasta sauce, and I'm going to dump that in there. You can find pasta sauces that are lower in points than this one, but this is what I had, and it was pretty good. Now what I do is I take that jar, I add about a half cup of water to it, and just kind of shake that around in there to get out all that remaining sauce. And that just adds a little extra moisture to this too. Now I'm gonna just stir this all up. I'm gonna let this come to a boil, turn the heat down, and then just let it simmer while I work on my filling for the pasta. The filling starts with some frozen spinach that I've defrosted and squeezed dry. And then I've got some egg here that I add to it, a little bit of Parmesan cheese, and then some of this part skim ricotta. And I just put all this stuff together, and then I mix it up real well. I got that all mixed up, and then I realized I had forgotten my nutmeg. So I sprinkled a little bit of that in there and then continued mixing that until it was where I wanted it. About like that. Now I'm gonna take my sauce that has been simmering for about 10 minutes, and I'm gonna put roughly about half of it on the bottom of this 9 by 13 inch casserole dish. Now that I've got that done, I'm gonna take my filling and I'm gonna evenly spread this on the 12 different noodles. I do have 12. There are some on a piece of parchment paper that are not showing. But I'm gonna take that and evenly spread that out on the 12 noodles. And it's about 2 tablespoons of this per noodle. And then I'm gonna roll those up. You wanna leave a little more room on the end than I did so it doesn't kind of squeeze out like that did there. And then I'm gonna just place those in the pan. And then I'm gonna just do the same thing for the rest of these. And while I was editing this, I saw my dog in the lower left-hand corner again, and that always cracks me up when I see her. And her little eyes are just going back and forth, watching me as I fill these, hoping that I'm going to drop something. If you've ever wondered why I have her in my profile picture or avatar, it's not just because I love her and bulldogs in general. It's because she is always right there when I am cooking. Every single time, waiting to get lucky with something coming her way. So anyway, I just thought that was cute. I thought I would share. Once I've got those all rolled up, I'm gonna take the remaining sauce and I'm gonna just evenly spoon that over the tops of these till they are all covered. Now that I've got those all covered, I'm gonna take a piece of aluminum foil. I'm gonna go ahead and put that on here, and then I'm gonna bake this in my preheated oven at 375 for just about 30 minutes. And then after 30 minutes, I'm gonna take it back out, uncover it, and put some of this part skim mozzarella on the top of it. And then I'm going to put it back in the oven at 375 again, uncovered this time, and I'm gonna just bake it until that cheese is nice and melted. And this is what it looks like after about 5 to 10 minutes. And here is one plated up. One of these is a serving, and they are 8 points on the green plan and 7 on the blue and purple. And like I said, my family just really enjoys these. I don't know if it's because they're in these cute little rolls as far as my kids go or what, but they love them. My husband and I love them. They're just really good. And so they've kind of become a go-to for me lately. I just really enjoy these. And I think for 7 points, that's definitely not bad for a meal. Next up, we had some burritos, and I guess you would call these breakfast burritos because they do start with eggs. So I'm just taking some eggs, putting them in here. And then next, I'm taking some of my non-fat plain Greek yogurt. I'm gonna add a little bit of that to them. And then a little fresh ground pepper and some salt. And then I'm gonna just whisk that all together real well. Here I've got a pan and I've got this on low heat. Put a little cooking spray in there so that these won't stick. And then I'm gonna just cook these low and slow until they look about like this. Now I'm gonna take these and I'm gonna evenly spread these out on these 4 tortillas. It's about 1/4 cup of egg per tortilla. And now I'm gonna take that same frying pan, I just rinsed it out, and I'm gonna add a can of rinsed and drained black beans. And then I'm also gonna add a little bit of salsa and some green onions. And then I'm gonna just stir all this together, and I'm gonna cook this on low medium heat just until that mixture gets warmed up. And these are the tortillas that I'm using, these Extreme Wellness spinach and herb tortillas. These are really good, and they are only a point each. So now I'm gonna take that bean mixture once it's warmed up, and I'm gonna evenly spread that on all the tortillas. And again, I'm using a 1/4 cup scoop for this because that's about how much of that you're gonna be putting on these too. Here I've got a mixture of fat-free cheese and some 2% milk cheese. And so I figure if I combine the two of them together, equal parts, I've got about a 50% less fat cheese. So I'm just gonna take this and evenly spread this on the 4 burritos. Now I'm gonna just take these and roll them up the best that I can. I am not very good at rolling burritos or wraps or anything, but I just did the best that I could. And here's my husband's plate. He ended up having 2 of these. They are 6 points apiece on the green plan and only 2 points apiece on the blue and purple plans. So pretty low. But he had 2. And then we also had a little bit of salsa and more Greek yogurt to kind of dip those in. I only had 1, which was only 6 points for dinner, and I thought that was pretty good. This next one is one that I don't do near enough. It is really good. My whole family likes it, and I don't know why I don't make it more than I do, but that is for chicken cordon bleu. And what I'm doing here is I'm just starting out with 4 defrosted frozen chicken breasts, putting them on some parchment paper, and then I'm going to take another piece of parchment paper, put that on top, and then I'm going to take a rolling pin here, and I'm going to just kind of flatten these chicken breasts out until they're about 1/4 inch or so thickness. You just want to get them nice and evenly flattened out. Once I've got those chicken breasts nice and flattened out, I'm going to take a little ground pepper here, put some of that on there, and I don't put a whole ton because my kids don't necessarily like it that much, but if I was just making it for my husband and I would put a whole lot more. And then a little bit of salt. Next, I'm going to take some of this ham that I got at Sam's Club, and I'm going to just put that on here. Now, I originally intended on using prosciutto for these that I had gotten at Aldi a while back, but when I went to open it, it was moldy, so I went ahead and definitely didn't use that and just used this deli ham, and it worked pretty good. So here I'm just putting on some pieces of a light Swiss cheese. And now I'm gonna just take these and starting at one end, I'm gonna just roll them up and then just place them seam side down. You can use a toothpick if you want to kind of keep these in place. And now I'm gonna take a 13 by 9 inch pan and I'm gonna spray this with a little bit of cooking spray. And then here I have an egg white and some water that I've beaten up and then some breadcrumbs. And I'm gonna just take this chicken and I'm gonna dip it into the egg white and then dredge it through the breadcrumbs and place it in my pan. And I'm gonna just do that for all of these. And again, if you wanna use a toothpick to kind of hold these in place once you've got them breaded, you can definitely do that. Once I've got those all done, I'm gonna take a little bit of cooking spray again, and I'm gonna just go ahead and spray the tops of these just a little bit. And then I'm going to bake these in my preheated oven at 350 until these reach an internal temperature of 165. And here's what they look like done, and also what we had with them. We had some Brussels sprouts that were a little sad looking. They were frozen, and that was all the veggies I had left at this point. So I had some of those at 0 points, and then these are 6 points on the green plan and 4 points on the blue and purple plan. And like I said, they're really good, and I think they definitely make a really nice meal, especially for as low in points as they are. So 6 points total for this meal, which I think was really good. And again, I need to make these more often in the future. Next up is one of my favorites. I make this all the time. I talk about this all the time, and I think I've filmed this at least twice already. So I didn't film myself making it, but I will link the recipe video down below for this. And that is egg roll in a bowl. This stuff is so good. It's so filling and satisfying. That right there is a serving, and it is only 3 points on all colors. So definitely a satisfying meal. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope maybe it gave you some ideas. I hope you're all staying safe and healthy. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.